I'm Anya Petrova, and I'm 32 years old. This is the true story of how my own dad lost his huge, famous company because he grounded me, a grown-up, like a kid. It all happened because he didn't respect what I did. The night it all went wrong was at a big fancy party. The Viridian Capital Gala. All the important business people my father, Viktor Volkov, knew were there. My dad owns a huge investment company worth about $500 million. In front of everyone, my father pointed at me and yelled the one sentence that would end his career. "You are confined to the penthouse until you publicly apologize to your new stepmother." The huge room, full of famous CEOs and investors, went totally silent. Then people started laughing, but it was awkward and confused. Imagine a 32-year-old woman being treated like a naughty teenager who had to go to her room. My dad had shamed me completely. But 48 hours later, the laughter stopped. My dad was supposed to sign a giant business deal called the Novus Energy acquisition. It was a deal worth $15 billion, and it was supposed to make my dad even richer and more famous. But the main lawyer for the company buying Novus stopped writing his name on the paper. He looked up at the crowd and asked, "Excuse me, but where's the top technology officer of Aegis Dynamics? We absolutely need Dr. Petrova's signature for this contract to be legal." The color drained from my father's face as I walked in. If you want to hear every detail of how I took everything from the man who dismissed me, from the corporate fraud to the massive poker debt scandal, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And tell me, where in the world is the phoenix rising? Let me know your city or country in the comments below. That's when I walked in. I showed my security badge, which said I was the Chief Innovation Officer of Aegis Dynamics. The power I had was something my dad had never seen or respected. The secret moneymaker. For the last 7 years, I'd been living under my dad's roof but feeling like a nobody in his new family. He divorced my real mom and married Serafina Dubois, a much younger socialite. I was like a ghost who secretly paid for everything. Every 3 months, I sent $300,000 from my own bank account to the family's main fund. This cash paid for all the fancy, expensive things they bought. The expensive antique rugs in their apartment? My money. Serafina's weekly private helicopter rides? My money. Her son, my stepbrother Maxim's, terrible failing art gallery? My money paid for it. When my dad's friends asked about my job, he would shrug. "Anya just does some small-time coding work for us," he'd say, making it sound boring and unimportant. The simple truth was I wasn't an employee anymore. My small-time coding was a huge tech company I started called Aegis Dynamics. My company was valued at more than $2 billion and was running in secret mode. My main product was an advanced AI program called the Phoenix Protocol. This program was the hidden brain behind the whole $15 billion Novus Energy deal. My AI was the only thing that proved the deal was worth all that money. That's why the contract said the whole deal couldn't move forward without my personal signature. My dad and stepmother had no idea. They thought I had a simple office job. They never asked why I had a super secure satellite phone or why Elias Thorne, the big boss of Horizon Global, the company buying Novus, was my business partner. I made myself small so I could survive their house, but I was about to show them that when you squeeze something powerful, it doesn't just disappear, it blows up. Serafina was the queen of self-obsession. Under her rule, my father, Victor, became her main helper, always choosing her side and sacrificing my feelings and dignity to keep her happy. Her son, Maxim, was the perfect son. He got praise for being smart and a genius, even though he was lazy and failed at everything. I was the easy target. I was the one they blamed for everything, calling me too serious or too much of a reminder of my dad's first marriage. The public shaming at the party was bad, but the real final straw was the financial plan my stepmother had. Earlier that evening, Serafina found me. She wore a shiny new sapphire necklace, which I knew my last check had paid for. She smiled a cold, fake smile. "Anya, sweetie," she cooed, loud enough for people nearby to hear. "Your father and I want to show everyone we are a happy family." She pulled out a folder full of legal papers. She demanded that I sign over all my company shares in Aegis Dynamics, my small coding firm, to Maxim. Maxim needs a real start for his new investment money. she insisted. I looked at the documents and then at my dad, who stood next to her, giving me a stern look. This wasn't a question. It was a public attack to force me to say yes. These shares, I warned him quietly, will soon be worth more than your entire company. Victor cut me off, looking cold. They might be, he said. But Maxim needs this now. This is how family helps family, Anya. In that moment, I knew my real father was gone. The man standing there was just Serafina's accomplice. I decided right then that I wouldn't just say no. I would let them push the button that would destroy their entire world. My dad clinked his glass and started making a big speech about the legacy and the happy family they were building. Serafina moved in close, taking his arm. We are celebrating a wonderful family gesture, Serafina announced, beaming. Anya is transferring her company shares to Maxim to support his future. She held out the pen and the papers and everyone stared at me. I walked up slowly. My heart was calm and steady. I have agreed to nothing, I said clearly into the silence. Serafina's smile twisted. Don't be shy, darling. Tell everyone. I looked only at my father. No, I said simply. I will not sign those papers, ever. The tension in the room snapped. My father's face turned beet red with anger and embarrassment. Anya, we decided this was necessary, he whispered loudly. You demanded it, I corrected him. That is not the same as deciding. Serafina cried out, playing the victim. She's trying to hurt us after everything we've given her. My father, humiliated in front of his powerful friends, exploded. What is this silly little company anyway? He spat. Aegis Dynamics, some small-time data project. You are acting like a selfish child, and you will be treated like one. He pointed a shaking finger at me and roared. You are confined to the penthouse until you show respect for this family and apologize to your stepmother. I didn't react. I felt completely free. I understand, I said, my voice steady. I am confined. I placed my full glass of water on a tray. I guess I'll go to my isolation now. My father yelled at me to stop, but I just walked past all the shocked faces, straight out the front door of the gala. I didn't go home. I went to the safe, private office I owned downtown, the place they never knew existed. From there I made 2 calls, one to my lawyer, Lysandra Vance, the second to my business partner, Elias Thorne, the big boss of Horizon Global. Dad made the final decision, I told them. The Phoenix Protocol plan is a go. Start the sequence. The next morning, Victor and Serafina woke up to an empty house. My things were gone, and my house key was sitting on the table. They thought I had run off to sulk at a friend's house. They thought they had won, but their happy moment was broken. My father's company lawyer rushed in, followed by my lawyer, Lysandra Vance. Lysandra was perfectly calm. She was carrying a briefcase that looked like a bomb ready to go off. Lysandra walked straight into their living room and set the briefcase down. Mr. and Mrs. Volkov, she began smoothly. I represent Dr. Anya Petrova. Victor scoffed. Represent her for what? A temper tantrum? Lysandra ignored him. She opened her briefcase and pulled out the big business contract. I am here to discuss the $15 billion deal between Novus Energy and Horizon Global. Victor's face fell. What about it? The signing is today. It's done. Not exactly, Lysandra corrected, pushing a document across the table. I want you to look at Rule 4.1, the rule about who must sign the contract. Victor and Serafina bent over to read it. It clearly says, Lysandra went on, that the whole deal and its huge price tag depends entirely on the signature of the top technology officer of Aegis Dynamics. The AI program, the Phoenix Protocol, is the only reason Horizon Global is willing to pay $15 billion. Victor looked up, confused. Then call the company leaders. What does this have to do with Anya's small-time coding job? Lysandra gave him the final crushing truth. Mr. Volkov, she said, your daughter, the woman you publicly ordered to stay in her room last night, is the Chief Innovation Officer of Aegis Dynamics. She is the founder. She owns the technology. And without her signature this afternoon, your $15 billion payday and all the fees your firm was going to earn are absolutely worthless. The silence in the room was deafening. The girl they had treated like trash was the key to their entire fortune. They had just publicly destroyed the person who held their future in her hands. The consequences were immediate and total. Before Lysandra had even left the street, my former business partner, Elias Thorne of Horizon Global, sent an email. The subject line was simple and brutal: "Deal canceled and we are suing you." The email explained, Horizon Global is immediately canceling the $15 billion deal. The value of the deal was based 100% on the Aegis Dynamics Phoenix protocol and its creator, Dr. Anya Petrova. The highly unprofessional and hostile actions taken by Viridian Capital's CEO, Viktor Volkov, against our key partner show an irreparable lack of judgment. We are also suing Viridian for $500 million for lying and wasting our time. The $15 billion deal, the only thing keeping my dad's firm afloat, was gone. Because Viridian Capital had already borrowed tons of money against that deal, the whole company immediately owed massive amounts of debt. The banks, the other investors, and the board members, who had all seen the news about the party, started calling at once. My dad's company was in a free fall. Viktor Volkov was locked out of his own office before the day was over. By the end of the week, the company was forced to shut down and file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. But there was one more piece of bad news. When accountants started looking through the company's books for the bankruptcy, they found a deeper, darker secret. They found a system of secretly stealing money from the company that had been going on for years. Millions of dollars were taken out and hidden. The trail of stolen money did not lead to my father. It led straight to Serafina Dubois. Serafina had been taking money for years to cover huge, secret online poker debts. She was addicted to gambling. Her extreme efforts to get me to sign over my shares weren't just about helping Maxim. They were a desperate attempt to put enough real money into their accounts to hide the massive hole she had created before the Horizon Global team found the theft. Her perfect life was now completely ruined. Not only did Victor lose his company and his reputation, but his wife was facing major federal criminal charges for stealing. The stepmother who ruled the house was about to trade her fancy clothes for a prison uniform. Maxim, the perfect son, was left with nothing and no idea how to work for a living. 9 months later, I was sitting at a massive, custom-built table in the new Aegis Dynamics headquarters. The view of the city was incredible, and the room was full of people who respected me and my work. I picked up a special pen and signed the final page of a $400 million contract with the government. A huge, stable deal, much better than the one my father had lost. A few weeks after that, my father asked to meet. We met at a quiet coffee shop. The man who sat across from me was defeated. He was thinner, older, and his pride was gone, replaced by a hollow look of pain. He didn't ask me for money or a job. He just apologized. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. He admitted he had been stupid, blinded by his own ego and Serafina's lies. I didn't forgive him right away. The goal wasn't forgiveness. It was change. I told him the conditions for us to have any kind of relationship in the future. They were strict. Get help. He had to go to therapy to understand why he allowed himself to become a person who would hurt his own daughter to please others. No business ties. He could never make money from the success of Aegis Dynamics, the company he had tried to steal from and called a silly project. Take responsibility. He had to own up to his mistakes, both in private and in public, with no excuses. He agreed to every single condition. Our relationship is now different. It's careful and built on rules of respect. We get coffee twice a month. Viktor Volkov, a man who spent my whole life making fun of my career, is ruined today because he completely missed the value of his own daughter. He lost everything because he tried to crush the Phoenix. Because of his betrayal, I was forced to stand up for myself. And when I did, I built an empire he could never have touched. So that is the final truth. Viktor Volkov, the legendary investor, is ruined today because he utterly missed the value of his own blood. He lost everything: his firm, his fortune, his wife, not to a rival, but to the single person he dismissed as too much. He tried to crush the Phoenix, but instead, he gave me the fuel to build an empire he could never have touched. The lesson is simple. Never underestimate the quiet one. We are the ones who have the power to collapse your world. I want to know what you think. Did Anya go too far, or was the $15 billion price tag exactly what Victor deserved for sacrificing his own daughter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you were satisfied watching this empire crumble, then hit the like button and subscribe right now for more true stories of ultimate revenge. I'll see you in the next one.